Hello everyone, this is Observer. Here is my first impressions, or beta review, no, alpha review actually, if you will, thus far, of ArcheAge. Right, so I'll be honest with you guys. The reason why I haven't, this is not CGI by the way, the reason why I haven't been making videos, so you haven't seen much videos on my channel for the past week and a half, is this game. This game has had me so excited to play it that I just simply could not bring myself to set off the hours of recording and editing and rendering that it requires to make some videos, and thus prevent me from playing the game, both during recording and editing, but also during the long rendering time, because it's a little bit heavy on the system. But really, it's a fantastic game, and I had multiple, both personal reasons and others, to not wanting to like this game, but I am very impressed, and we'll get into a bit of details on those, but I want to explain this video a little bit first. I will also go through some of the points that I'm a little bit more skeptical about, if you will. But overall, I am very happy with this game, and I think it will do great with a certain crowd, at least. It's kind of, well, anyways, let's get back deeper into that afterwards. The thing I wanted to talk about with the video, and I'm calling this an alpha review. It's in alpha as I'm playing it now, and obviously, it being an MMO, it's hard to really review the entire game and all it has to offer, especially while it's not released. But then again, games are usually not released when I look at them, and also it's going to be a while until it happens. I want to give you guys something to work with in regards to whether you should grab it now. It's really, really expensive though. It costs $150 to get into the alpha, but we'll talk more about that too. But it's not a final review, don't take it like that. It's more like an informative video from my experiences thus far in the game and how much I've played. And I've played pretty much all of my spare time, all of my wakey time, the weekends, all of my time after work for the past week and a half. That's pretty much what I put into it so far, and we're going to share some of that. Donkey. Some other things that is informative. We're doing some. We're trying to create a guild in here, and in so doing, it's part of something else with landmark and everything too. There will be a separate video on it, but if you're interested, we have a guild in here. It's called Donkey Business. Obviously, you do a lot of business on donkeys in the game. It's all about being nice and friendly with each other, mind you. So it's a PvP heavy game, obviously. But anyways, more about that in a different video. Let's talk a little bit about this game while I run around and observe the scenery. Prices, very, very expensive. $150 to get into alpha. Why would you want to get into alpha? There's multiple reasons. I'm not going to try to sell it. I'm just going to try to explain like the advantages of it. We're going to run through here so you can look at that. This is player farms. There's no instanced anything in the game, well, except for dungeons. But these areas here are dedicated to where people can farm things. You own a little plot of land, which is where all of these little scarecrows are located. And you can grow whatever you want, and it has a monumental effect on the gameplay. What you have to do is also where you place houses. There are tons of these places around the place. But as you can see, it's already kind of crowded. That brings me to one of the points why you would want maybe an alpha, because for the alpha thing, you get, amongst other things, you get some in or cash shop currency. You get quite a lot of it. Like a big part of the price is actually that. You get some head start, 4 days head start. All of the founders packs get that, and you get something called a patron status for 90 days after release. And patron status is what is required in order to to build a house and own a house and a farm. Now, it's for the beta, you only get you get some of the same things, or for shorter periods of time. You get the same head start. You don't get as much in-game cash, and you don't get as long of a patron status. Beta events, though, are going to most likely, anyways, be for weekends only, while as alpha is consistent, like it's on all the time, 24/7. So that's one reason. Betas are considerably cheaper, but you don't get the same benefits from it. Now, what you would want the patron status for and everything is, it's limited housing spots. I mean, there is many places you can live, but most of the world you can't. There are like dedicated areas for it, and those are quite crowded, and the good spots are even more crowded. So if you want to know where to put your house and the fastest way to get your house, and no less to actually be able to build a house, which I think everyone pretty much want to, you pretty much need to be in early in this game. That's one of my concerns actually as well. The fact that you need to be in early to, you just have a lot of advantages if you're in early. If you come in later in this game, it feels like that anyway to me, you're going to be at a great disadvantage, because all the great spots are going to be taken. Large guilds are going to dominate. Like, you won't know what to do. You won't have the same opportunities as people that are in early. So those head start and that patron status, that is all very valuable, which is kind of a shame in many ways. I hope that they solve it. I hope that they add more space, more islands. There has been talks about it, but that is one of my biggest concerns with the game. And let's go through my other concern with it too. This game is like the end game. It's a sandbox / theme park game, so it's kind of a combination. My other big concern is something I actually enjoy too. It's very guild oriented, the game is. You have to be in a guild. You have to probably be in a large guild in order to get stuff done. For example, with these farming things, you do something called trade runs, which is basically you grow something and then you transport it on your back, or in larger machines, or on ships, or on this donkey, which is what a donkey is for mainly, because you go slowly, or it's like semi-incapacitated while you transport stuff. And the backpack that you're carrying from one place to another can be looted by other players. Not your other stuff, but that backpack can, and that is a valuable thing. And you do these trade runs to earn money and some other currency that you use to buy houses and ships and machines and all sorts of cool stuff in the game. Now, large guilds will hunt for those. Well, there's someone doing a trade run there. He doesn't have anything to transport it with, but large guilds will be able to camp these trade routes and basically gank you to take your stuff. And I'm a little bit concerned that without the large guilds, I mean, I don't mind being guilds and everything, games are supposed to be social, but I don't really see how a smaller guild, which many people want, like a guild of friends, I don't really see how a smaller guild will be able to matter in, like, because there will be large conflicts, there will be like siege warfare and everything like that, and I don't see how they will be able to make a difference. But then again, there are alliances, so you can have multiple guilds in an alliance, and that's probably how it's going to work out. I'm just not sure about that part. My third concern, and that pretty much covers the concerns, is the fact that this game is produced by Excel Games, and not by Trion. Trion is the publisher for the North America, Europe, Australia servers. I'm unsure of what type of changes or additions Trion will be able to add based on like local requirements. It might be a very slow process to implement something that is desperately needed for the Western player base, but that isn't even thought of for the Eastern player base. This obviously being a Korean game, or Asian, and I'm not sure actually if Excel Games is Korean. So there are some differences. So So that might be a slow process. For now, really what they're doing is they're translating the game, basically. That's what the alpha is. There's all the details too, but, you know, I don't think they will be able to add much. But this is something, I'm just speaking out of no knowledge right now. And I really wish I recorded this video in the daytime. So those are my concerns. Let's talk a bit more about the game, and I will actually show you gameplay too, not just run around. It's just so much to talk about, so it's easier to run around while I do. The game is a theme or sand park. It's a mix. It's not a full-blown sandbox, by no means, is it? And that's some of the misunderstanding. Like the questing system in the game is pretty standard. You follow arrows around, you click on exclamation marks and question marks, and you do the quest. They're fine, they're nothing awesome, but they're fine. You don't really have to do that though. You can farm and stuff, but it seems, at least in the early levels, that it's less effective to be a crafter than it is just following the beaten path, which I think is what most people do anyways. I don't mind it, but it's not a full-blown sandbox. The sandbox aspects comes more late game, being that large areas of the world, including the large ocean, is PvP. Guilds can create their own factions. There are two factions. There's like the eastern and the western islands. We'll show you on the map actually. It's enough scenery. Let's take this off. Let's show you the map. Here we are. This is my zone. We can also... The distance I've rode now, by the way, is the distance from here-ish and over to here on this island. During the video thus far. We started at the coast here and we rode up here. These are different zones around here. You zoom out a bit more. This is the distance I rode. Not all of this is built yet. It's coming. So my faction, basically, my standard faction, lives on this island. Then you have the western island, which is over here. Or the eastern one, I mean. These are the two main starting zones. And then if people decide to be like gankers and commit crimes and all sort of things and get bad karma, which some people will do voluntarily, they can choose to become pirates, which is the third faction, and they will live on this island here where the NPCs are friendly to pirates. Let's talk about the combat. Since I lost track of what I was talking about. Combat is fast-paced, but it's not action combat. We've seen a lot of action combat in games lately, in MMOs. This is not one of them. I will show you some combat as well. It's tab targeting, or it's not tab, it's actually selected. You can tab target, is my point. I'm fine with it. I like action combat, but one of the things that you miss out of during action combat, let me actually do some combat. One of the things that you miss out on with action combat is that everything is AoE. If you look at, for example, Wildstar, there's a lot of skills that just can't exist in a action combat game, because absolutely every skill you have is AoE. You don't counter things the same way. You don't have like short buffs or dispels or like weakens and roots in the same way. Is less strategic. It's more of a gang rape, to be honest. That's a little bit brutal, but you know what I mean. Like let's call it like a violent type rape, okay? So let's demo a little bit of skills here. I'm in like an archer type. This is obviously mobs way beyond my level. I just happen to be in this area. There are some problems with some of the skills in the game at the moment. Some of the really fast ones are based off of your ping. So if you're, for example, like me playing from Europe, some skills are vastly inferior to if I had the same skill and was playing from America, because of where the servers are. They just fire slower, like half the speed. Presumably they'll fix that. The Russian servers don't have that issue. They have fixed that type of the code. Let's see, otherwise you have... Oh. didn't work, so we'll jump back and we'll instantly grab him with an oily hand. Alright. Now, I'm not going to go very much through combat in this video. This is more of an overview video. Trust me, there will be videos detailing a lot of the gameplay in this game, but something I will recommend, and I will probably say it again during this video. Pretty much the entire time I've been playing for the last week and a half, I've also been streaming. So if you're not already, jump over on twitch.tv/observer and come along with us. I'm either streaming solo or together with friends, and we're having a lot of fun, and it's awesome. So join in there, and I can also use your support over there. It would be great. Really getting into the whole streaming thing, especially with games like this. Now, something else I want to show you, the class system. Alright, this is pretty cool. So, if you're not familiar with it, here's a quick breakdown. What you do is you have, for example, at the beginning in the character creation, you choose a skill tree, or I don't know what. Let's call it a skill tree, like a skill set. Is more like what it is. So I chose archery as my first skill set. Then I could choose between, I think it's like 7 others or something, or 6 others, and then once I'm in game, there are at least 3 more skill sets that you can't start with, that you can choose later. So my second one was Shadowplay, which I chose at level 5, and Witchcraft, which I chose as level 10. And level 10 is pretty fast to get to in this game. So you combine 3 classes, or skill sets, in order to make a class. So my combination of archery, shadowplay, and witchcraft makes a trickster. So there's 120 different class combinations in the game, which is pretty cool. I won't say that all of them are viable. Like, some of them are shit. There's some skills that absolutely doesn't work together, but you get the idea. So then you go down each and every one of them. Like, you can, obviously I have these from the very start. You can see I've only picked 1 skill over in Witchcraft here. I could have chosen all the way to here, to Play Dead, this skill is called. You can pick and choose from wherever. You get skill points every now and then, and you put them where you want. The difference is, like, this skill is unlockable at 1, this at 2, this at 1, this at 5, 10, 15, 20... Alright, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, and so on and so forth. And these passives are unlocked on the side here, are unlocked by how many active skills you have chosen in that particular skill set. So that's why my skills are henna. But it's pretty easy to respec individual skill set, and you can also remove skills, or you can reset the skills in an individual skill set, but it's also pretty easy to remove the skills that you've chosen, or the skill sets that you've chosen, and switch it out for another one. Disadvantage being that you start off at a lower level in that skill set. If I were to remove my level 27 Witchcraft at the moment, I would have a level 10 whatever else I chose to replace it with. But it catches up, and eventually I'm pretty sure anyways that a lot of characters are going to pretty much just have all of the skill set, because they keep their level even if they're not active. So you can just pick it back up later at 27, even if I remove it now. Crafting skills. Well, don't worry, we'll go through this in more detail in like more of a guide type video later. I'm just showing here. These are the different types of crafting skills that you have, sort of. These are the active crafting skills. You have alchemy, cooking, handicrafts, husbandry, farming, gathering, machining, metalwork, printing, masonry, tailoring, leatherwork, weaponry, carpentry, and commerce. If I go into, for example, machining, which is an interesting one, I can choose to build vehicles, or partial vehicle, gliders, ship instruments. There's a lot of naval-based things in this game with the ship combat and everything. Let's see if I can find... proficiency. You can see there are actually quite a few more, but many of them are like gathering type skills. Music composition, for example, you can actually write your own music and play it on your instruments in game. You can write whatever music you want and have the different instruments that you can craft and get in game. Play them if you're like you're a bard type class. This is pretty fantastic. Now I feel like we've been running around a lot and just talking here. So let me show you some of the things. Which is, if I were smart, I would show those things off in the beginning of the video, but I'm not really, and I just need to get this video out there, show you guys what this game is all about. But I really, though, come over to my Twitch stream. I'm not even joking. There's so much more we can show you. It's going to take me a while to cover this game, and I will be playing this game a lot. So, but let's head over to a place called Mirage Island where we can test out some stuff. Dang nabbit, I thought there was a portal over here. This is a glider, by the way, something you can also craft, which is very cool. And you can bomb things with, like that guy just did. They're cool to fly around with. You can get better ones, you can get like ones with updraft. Most of them are just actually gliding down, but you can get different ones. There's just so many cool vehicles and everything in here. Speaking of which, oh man, I will need to get to Mirage Island. I wanted to show you like a cool city here, but you know, come to my stream. Daylight. Alright, so what we've been talking about, like with the end game being PvP based and everything, well, you can, there's many things there. Let's talk about a couple of other things about the game. A bit laggy here. These houses is the types you can buy. This island is basically somewhere where you can check out the things that you can later buy. But sorry about the whole lag issue here. But there's a ton of things here, and on the other side too, things that players can buy. And for example, these castles, or even more, for example, you see this little castle structure here, consists of parts like this. Guilds can set these up on different on like PvP areas to have. They can purchase them. They're really expensive though. Don't get me wrong. Everything is very time consuming in this game. This is not made to cater to people that go on the forum and bitch and whine because they can't win playing 2 hours a week. This is semi-hardcore. It's more hardcore than what we're used to with Western MMOs recently in that regard. It's made at least halfway for people that has time to play, I would say. Then again, we don't know the cash shop for the Western market yet, so who knows what will be in there. But that's something to consider. At the very least, very guild-based. So these you can set up and they can be siege warfare. Using, for example, you can build these, which is like a ladder tower that you can drive around with, try to get on top of the wall, or like this little catapult thing here. You can actually try some of those out too. But that's what I mean with, like, it's quite hard. Like, everything takes time. Like, the crafting takes a lot of time. I'll show you some crafting afterwards. I'm not sure what's going on in here at the moment. But we can try out, for example, this vehicle over here, unless someone has messed it up. This is... I need to be able to see my interface now. There we go. And I'll have to there's a wheeled mortar. There we go. And now we can drive this mortar around. Cool, yeah? Go somewhere with that. We can set it in siege mode. Oh yeah. We can actually change to control the mortar with G. Now I'm the mortar guy and I can fire at things with this. And there's lots and lots of different things like that. This over here, for example, let's see, where was the other one? That guy is driving around on a tractor. This is used primarily for transporting and doing these trade runs where you can keep more than one backpack on your back. You can just keep them on the back of the tractor when you have long distances to drive and you want to transport more than one goods. You can have these things on the ships too, for example. It's a lot of cool things. So all these houses you see here, this is the type that players can buy for different purposes. You can decorate them, you can have like your crafting stations in there, all sorts of things like that. The water houses, like the ones over there, you can buy. You can have aqua farms, underwater farms in them. They come with them. You can also have aqua farms separately, but these comes with aqua farms. You can buy this boat here, and many like it. It's just an example. You can sometimes go ahead and test them. Doesn't seem to be any inshore right now. These are some models. This is the type that I have. It's a small one. You can get bigger ones like this galleon over here that has cannons, so you'll have to have a whole crew to man everything, and scouts up in the top to up here to see where things are, go on the radar and everything. You have many functions on a boat. This is more of a, like a this might be the actual trade ship which can transport things. There's a fishing boat, very expensive for fishing trips. Basically has functions for that. Everything has a lot of functions on it. It's really cool. You even have submarines like the ones over here. We'll have a look at those. Here they are. So you can buy those and basically swim underwater for treasure hunts and such. I have many stories and I will tell them mostly on stream, but things are happening on stream as well as stories. What I like about this game is the sandbox element to it creates situations that you remember for a long time. Like, it creates adventures. It's very social. You actually need other players for the most part. And that's the main thing that's been missing from MMOs for a long time, I feel like. The need for other players. So not everyone is going to like this game. People that enjoyed games 10 years ago, MMOs, and has felt like something's been amiss since then, are most likely going to like most of this game. People that has grown up on more newer Western type MMOs might have problems with this, might go to the forums bitching about it. I expect that, because it does require that you have some kind of need to socialize and work together. It really appeals to me, and those are just those things that has been gone for a long time from the MMO world. I really will say. There's many aspects, like, for example, back in Star Wars Galaxies and things we talk about constantly on my channel. So I have no doubt that I will spend a lot of time in this. The downsides is that it might be maybe too much in that direction. So we'll see. The whole guild thing, the need to be the strongest part basically might be difficult to get through, but we'll see. There will be a lot more videos on this though, so don't worry. This is just like an introduction. So mining, not particularly interesting, just finding nodes. And then the better your mining skill, essentially, the higher your chance to find more rare resources in the different nodes. Like, extra nodes will spawn that you can since get extra stuff out of. Trees is the big issue here. Like, trees are the thing that is hard to get, because, and I don't really enjoy this, to be honest. Trees in the world you can't harvest. Sandbox as it may be, you can't take down these trees. Instead you have to grow trees. There are certain trees in some areas that you can harvest, but for the most part you can't. And the ones that you can harvest are usually pro harvesters are running around and grabbing those as soon as they respawn. And the trees take like anything from 4 hours to a couple of days to grow, depending on the type of tree. And there are many types of trees. So that is an issue, but that's because a lot of the things that you need to build in a game, like houses, like ships, like everything, requires a lot of wood. So wood is really the currency, I feel like, in this game. That is difficult. We'll head over to the farm and I'll show you. And you'll see in these public farms just how much trees are needed. Actually, we are heading into one now, and you can see the public farms are not really so much farms as they are forests, as we see here. Well, this is actually not public farms per se. This is the places people own. You can see someone has built a house here. You can see some of the things that people go. There is really a myriad of different seeds and plants and animals that you can build or plant here. Like, this guy has ducks or geese, I don't know, one of them. and they're used for different things, to grow different things. So over here we have different types of animals that they're using for different things. Polar bear even. You can farm animals and plants and you know, anything. Herbs. What I'm currently growing is mostly trees. And you can see these little this outlines pretty much the size of a farm around this scarecrow. You can get bigger ones, bigger farms, and there's a little quest line to get there, and it's quite dangerous. You have to cross the ocean with a trade quest and we'll be ganked by pirates. But the bigger ones, let's see if we can find one of those. Here we are, over there. You can see there's a bit of a glitching with the graphics here. I don't know what that is about. Hopefully they'll fix that. This here is a bigger farm, this type of scarecrow. I'm working on getting mine to that size. And you can see basically where I'm running around now, that's the outline of that. So, where is planted here? It's not so easy to see, maybe find another one. Yeah, this is perfect. You can see this is the outline with the white fence here. And he's also growing trees. It's considerably larger. The smallest one is 8 times 8. The other one here is 16 times 16. You can also get a farmhouse, and we'll see if we see one nearby here somewhere. Farmhouses, which this is not. Farmhouses are 24 by 24, obviously containing a house in the middle of it. I think there's one. Yeah. And then this one here, even more expensive. I'm also working on getting one of those, but it's going to take me a while. So here you also have the added utility of having like water, so you can water your plants and everything. It has a male owl, and you can grow within this area here. As I'm basically running around this tree line now, is the farm space around the house. So it's not huge, and the more you can place many things, or many farms, but the more of them you have, the more it will cost in upkeep. So what I've done is I've used an alt to create another small farm. So I have 2, otherwise it would take for freaking ever to get the wood that I need for my stuff. The actual crafting in the game is not really that groundbreaking. It's basically gather a bunch of stuff and put it together like you would in most MMOs. The interesting part about crafting in this game is really gathering or getting all of the resources, and how you do it. Like here you can see someone has saved up a trade pack. It's safe on his farm so long as the farm is paid for, the rent is paid. So he's just gathering this here until he has maybe another one or something, so he can go on a trade run and sell it for one of many types of currencies. Trade runs being the further away you go, the more you get for it basically. But also the greater the risk, the more you get, and you have to go through some PvP areas for some of those runs. The less rewarding ones being the safe and shorter ones. So growing and getting all of the components for the things you need for your farm is really the most interesting part. So let's see if my farm is nearby here somewhere. It should be about there. It is. So right now I'm actually, that's not it. Here we are. I'm growing some trees, and in between I had some space for some strawberries that I'm going to use for building a local specialty later and go on a trading run with. When you plant things, they look like this, and obviously I don't have any space here right now, but you can see the outline of how much room different things takes, and I have to squeeze it into this, and you can see I don't really have that much space here. On a normal house you have a little bit of farm space around, so you still have more than you do with the little farm. And then I have a spare farm over here that I placed with my alt, just to... Actually, I was supposed to do that a long time ago, plant this down. Now it's a bit late. I'm going to have to plant those now to get it done with, because this needs to grow up soon, because we're going on a little guild run later across the ocean once again. I have already put out a video of our first trip for that. We're going to do it, many of us, with trade packs this time. I hope we survive it. I hope we don't lose the things. But it's always dangerous to cross the ocean. You might do like a couple of ships to look more scary, I guess. And it will also say on these what type of terrain they grow best in. Like if you plant them, if I plant these here, doesn't fit here for some reason. This is a bad example because you can't really see it, but there's like an indicator in different colors that shows you if it has room there or not. Usually it goes red or green. has a bit much leaves here. There we go. So, where's my farm? There it is. There I can plant it. And I have another one. There I can plant. Here-ish. Okay. And you can see on the things how long they will take to grow, what kind of biome, if you will, that they thrive the best in. And you can look at the map and see what your zone is. So this is temperate, and most of the plants grow best in temperate climate. So that way this will shorten down actually from the time that they say. If you plant in a climate that you don't want it, it will take longer to grow. This obviously interests me a great deal, the whole farming things. That's what I'm saving up for more farms and a tractor, like a trade ship and everything like that. You can grow things outside of your farm, but if you do, it's basically open game to anyone else to steal. Now, if you steal things, you will leave footprints, and people can chase you down like bounty hunters, and you will get like crime points. And when you have enough crime points, you will be taken to court. And in court, people will be summoned as a jury to sentence you, possibly to a jail. And if you get into jail, you have to sit in jail, and where you can't actually do anything for not very long, like 10 minutes, 20 minutes. You can escape from jail. You might be able to bribe the jury. That's not been implemented yet, but there's been talks about it. Many things like that. Obviously, pirates don't care. You can dig your way out of the jail. Many things like player courts, fantastic system. But yeah, a lot to do. I really enjoy it. So some of the things that we've come through, and I'm just rambling here, but some of the things that happened, for example, with this, a very short story. So me and another guy was doing one of these on-foot trade runs the other day. And as we had to go a long distance. We had to go from where I am now, hereabouts, to up in here, which is a long walk on foot. And as we were heading out with our big backpacks and like 30% move speed, a guy on a donkey rode up to us and then said, like, for 20 silver, I'll escort you the whole way there and play a song to make you run faster. And he did. And he was like a role-playing bard. And he had an instrument that made it so that whenever he was around in our area, he would play that instrument and it would make us run faster. Slightly, but anyway. But it was also entertaining us the entire way, citing like bard lyrics. He had all these verses. They were funny, and it was even though it took like 15-20 minutes to run there, it was a very entertaining thing. It was one of those moments that you don't forget. It was MMO history. That doesn't happen in pure theme park MMOs. So that is fantastic. I really love that part. Where is the airship? We need to end this video. It's too long. Where is it? Find the airship. Ah. Here we are. So, in conclusion, game looks beautiful, very, very feature complete compared to any other game in the same stage. Obviously, that being because it's actually been released for over a year already in Asia. So many things to do in this game. So many, many, many things. It is not one of those games that just have you doing the same thing over and over. Well, in a sense, it's not a theme park game, it's a mix. For me, it's very good. I personally would have liked even more Sandbox in it, but this is as good as it's gotten for a long time. So it's for those of us that like that. It's very guild-oriented, so you need to be social. It takes away that thing where you can level solo the whole way if you want to do that, but you can't do like the cool things. Just leveling isn't that cool. Unless you prefer, being like a solo pirate or something eventually that doesn't, own anything. Non-instance everything, housing is everywhere. Well, not everywhere, but it's not, you don't have the zone to get into the houses. Um, expensive right now, will be free to play when it's released. Generally, I love it. I love this game. It has those things the things that I will be able to invest myself in. It has those kind of things where many of us have been looking for, and some people absolutely haven't, but many of us have been looking for a game where you can actually, you know, live in the game, somewhere to spend your life. I know that sounds a little bit sad, but it's sort of like an old school gamer romantic feeling. If you've been around in the gaming world for some time, you wanted to have a game that was worth your time, not just something to run through like all of these massive single player online games that has been recently. So it's going to be hardcore for some. It's not terribly hardcore. It's not Ultima Online. It's not that hardcore, but it is more hardcore than many other games. So it's a fair warning. Now, again, come visit my Twitch, if for nothing else, to give me a follow so I can get some help there. Would be much appreciated. Ooh. And I'll see you guys around for other videos of this game. It's going to be a lot of videos from it, but like the lengthy thing, the one that really give you the impression of the game, you can really only get that from coming to the Twitch channel. So I'll see you there. Thank you.